Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Today things are going to get kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking into the Department of Government Efficiency,
DOGE.
DOGE,
Yeah.
right?
Catchy name.
That's what I thought. So we've got some Wikipedia articles here.
Okay.
One is on DOGE itself,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is on Elon Musk
Of course.
because he's kind of the big name attached to all this.
Yeah, he's the face of DOGE, you could say.
And that's what makes this so interesting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're not just talking about some boring government agency.
Right.
This is about like massive cuts to spend
Streamlining
the
agencies.
whole 9 yards.
Right.
But it's the way they're doing it. And who's in charge that's raising a lot of questions.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like someone took a tech CEO,
Not just any tech CEO.
right, and dropped them right in the middle of Washington.
It's like, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, that's what we're here to find out, right?
Exactly.
So, to understand DOGE, I think we got to go back to the beginning. Like, how did this even happen? This wasn't like some long-term policy goal or anything.
Right.
It seems like it all came about from those talks Musk had with Trump back when he was still running for president.
Back in 2024.
Yeah, and it even became like a campaign promise.
So we went from campaign talk to like an actual government department.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy when you think about it.
It is a fast turnaround.
It really shows you how much people wanted to change the government. You know,
Oh, yeah.
there was even that bill, remember? The Drain the Swamp Act.
Oh, yeah. That was a wild one.
It wanted to move agencies out of D.C. and stop people from working remotely.
Yeah. But it didn't pass in the end, right?
Nope.
But the idea behind it,
That's what lives on in DOGE.
it's like they took that Drain the Swamp thing and put it on steroids.
And who better to lead the charge than Elon Musk?
The man, the myth, the legend.
The guy who needs no introduction, right?
Famous for tech, ventures his outspoken personality.
And let's be real.
Some pretty controversial opinions.
It's a unique situation, right? It's not like he's a politician.
Or a policy expert.
This is Elon Musk. He's more likely to be tweeting about memes than testifying before Congress.
Speaking of memes,
Oh, yeah.
you know how DOGE is actually pronounced?
Not like the word is.
No, it's DOHJ.
Like the cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Dogecoin.
It feels like he's treating this whole thing as a joke.
It does, right? Like a big experiment.
And when you think about the potential consequences,
It's a little unsettling.
to say the least.
So let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
What is DOGE actually supposed to do?
Well, according to the executive order that created DOGE,
Uh-huh.
it's all about increasing the efficiency of the federal government.
Increase efficiency.
That's pretty broad, don't you think?
What does that even mean in practice?
It's vague, right?
Very.
Like they're giving themselves a blank check to change anything.
And those changes are already happening.
Oh, yeah, they're moving fast.
DOGE is trying to cut
$2 trillion?
$2 trillion from the
Dang.
budget.
That's more than some countries spend in an entire year.
That's not just trimming the fat. That's like
Liposuction on a national scale.
economists are already freaking out about what this could do to the economy.
Yeah, there are worries beyond just money, too.
Oh, yeah.
DOGE now has access to really sensitive data and systems,
Like what?
like treasury payment systems.
Okay, that's a little scary.
Imagine giving someone the keys to the national bank.
And that someone is a bunch of kids, basically.
A lot of them are young and inexperienced.
And a lot of them used to work for Musk's companies.
It's a recipe for disaster waiting to happen.
You've got all this power and access to sensitive data.
And no experience, no oversight.
Didn't Vivek Ramaswamy used to be in charge with Musk?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He left to run for governor of Ohio.
So now it's just Musk.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's officially a special government employee, right?
That's the title. Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It means he has a lot of flexibility,
And some would say,
not a lot of accountability.
Yeah.
So he's basically running the show.
with very little oversight.
And he's known for making impulsive decisions.
It's a recipe for disaster.
We keep saying that.
Well, it's true.
Okay, so let's talk about Musk's politics.
Okay.
He's pretty open about his views.
He leans pretty far right, wouldn't you say?
I think it's fair to say that.
And he's not a fan of government in general.
Plus, he's got strong opinions on immigration, gender, COVID lockdowns.
It makes you wonder if those views are affecting what DOGE is doing.
Is this really about efficiency, or is there something else going on?
That's the question, isn't it? It starts to feel less like an experiment and more like
A power grab.
Exactly. And the way they're doing things just adds to that feeling.
How so?
They're targeting agencies for elimination canceling DEI contracts.
They're being super secretive, too.
Like they're trying to avoid those FOIA requests.
Freedom of Information Act.
Right, if you're hiding what you're doing.
It makes people suspicious.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about the people who actually work for the government. They're the ones losing their jobs.
It's creating this climate of fear.
And uncertainty.
It's like a brain drain.
All these experienced people are leaving.
It's a mess.
Plus, there are all those lawsuits.
People are suing DOGE for everything.
Violating federal law, accessing sensitive data,
It's like they're operating in this legal gray area.
pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable.
So is DOGE a force for good?
Or a dangerous experiment.
To answer that, we need to look at the legal challenges they're facing.
And the impact they're having on people and agencies.
So buckle up.
Because this deep dive is about to get a whole lot deeper.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the big picture with DOGE, the goals, the leadership,
All trouble.
all that. But to really get it,
You gotta look at the specifics.
exactly, like what are they actually doing?
Yeah. How does DOGE work in the real world?
So one name that keeps coming up in these articles
Oh, yeah.
is Nicole Hollander.
I think I remember her.
She used to work for X.
What used to be Twitter.
Right. And now she's like a DOGE agent or something.
Yeah. A DOGE operative.
Yeah, working inside the General Services Administration.
GSA.
Right, the GSA, and what you do in there.
Canceling leases on federal buildings.
Oh, wow. So like literally shrinking the government.
It's like they're taking that drain the swamp thing to a whole new level.
But think about all the fallout from that.
Yeah, like what happens to those agencies?
Broken contracts.
All to save a few bucks?
Doesn't seem very efficient in the long run.
That's a good point. Are they even thinking about the long-term consequences?
It makes you wonder.
It really does.
Okay, so another name that really stuck with me was Luke Ferriter.
Ah, yes.
You remember him?
Vaguely.
He's that young guy, like 22 years old.
Right, and he got access to those really sensitive systems.
Yeah, the Department of Energy servers.
And even the National Nuclear Security Administration.
Okay, hold on. That's the agency that takes care of our nukes, right?
That's the one.
It's like giving a 22-year-old the keys to Fort Knox.
I think that's a pretty good analogy.
And get this, some people at the DOE even said it was a bad idea.
They weren't happy about it.
But they did it anyway.
It shows you what their priorities are.
Loyalty over experience.
Definitely.
Even when it comes to something as important as nuclear weapons.
It's a scary thought.
It is. And
Oh.
speaking of scary,
Oh, no. What else did they do?
they tried to get into NOAA's computer systems, too.
NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
The one and only.
What were they thinking?
I don't know, but the NOAA staff were freaking out.
Why?
They said it could mess up all kinds of important stuff.
Like what?
Weather forecasts, storm warnings, things that keep people safe.
Oh, wow. So they're not just messing with government agencies.
They're messing with public safety.
They're so focused on disrupting things,
They don't see the big picture.
or they don't care.
And their tactics are pretty aggressive, too.
Like how so?
Remember when they took over the Office of Personnel Management?
They basically stormed the castle,
Moved right in,
Yeah.
locked everyone out.
took control of all those systems with personal data on millions of federal employees.
It was a bold move,
And probably illegal.
but it fits the pattern right.
Disregard for the rules.
Willingness to use force to get what they want.
It's like they're trying to shock and awe everyone into submission.
And it's not just the big stuff either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the article mentions DOGE people inspecting bathroom signs
Bathroom size.
to see if they're following Trump's executive orders.
What does that have to do with efficiency?
Exactly. It feels more like they're pushing a social agenda.
It's hard to ignore Musk's influence here.
Yeah, his views are all over DOGE.
His distrust of government.
His thing against woke culture.
It's all seeping into their actions.
He's been really vocal about DEI initiatives.
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
Right, he hates them.
Calls
them divisive, discriminatory.
And DOGE is canceling all those DEI contracts.
So are they really trying to make government better?
Or are they just pushing their own political agenda?
And what about the people who work for the government?
Yeah, the human cost is huge.
Layoffs, resignations.
Fear, uncertainty.
It's a toxic work environment.
Imagine dedicating your life to public service.
And then suddenly you're told your work doesn't matter.
Your values are wrong.
And you might lose your job.
It's heartbreaking.
And it's causing a brain drain.
All the experienced people are leaving.
And it's not just the employees who suffer.
Think about the public.
What if an agency like USAA, Sean, gets shut down?
That would be devastating for foreign policy. humanitarian aid, all kinds of things.
And then there's the potential for corruption.
So much power in so few
With
hands.
no oversight.
It's a recipe for disaster.
There we go again.
But that's why these lawsuits are so important.
They're a way to hold DOGE accountable.
To make sure they're following the law.
They're a check on their power.
A reminder that even in the name of efficiency,
We can't sacrifice transparency in the rule of law. Wow, this DOGE deep dive has been...
it's been wild, right?
It really has, from campaign promise to all this controversy.
And those aggressive tactics.
It's unlike anything we've ever seen.
Definitely a shakeup of the status quo.
So now that we've gone through all the details, I'm wondering,
Yeah.
what do you think this whole thing tells us about how our government works?
That's a tough one. DOGE is like a symptom of something bigger.
You think so?
Yeah, like this distrust of government that's been growing for years.
It's true, you hear it everywhere.
Drain the swamp, cut the red tape.
Shrink the government.
It's coming from both sides.
They might not agree on how to do it.
But they all think the government's too big,
Too bureaucratic.
too inefficient.
And, I mean, they're not wrong,
There's definitely room for improvement.
but how do we fix it? Is DOGE the answer?
I don't think so.
Why not?
It's the way they're going about it.
Like what?
It feels like they're using efficiency as an excuse
To do what?
to push their own agenda,
You mean like
getting rid of those DEI programs.
and ignoring all the rules
It's like they're cherry picking what they want to change.
based on what they believe?
Exactly, and that's dangerous.
How so?
Because if we start doing that,
If we say it's okay to dismantle things just because we don't like them,
we're undermining democracy.
so what's the solution then?
It's got to be more nuanced.
What do you mean?
We need to recognize that things need to change.
Well,
We
okay.
can't throw out the good with the bad.
We need checks and balances.
Transparency, accountability.
And we need to be careful about who we trust
People who use efficiency as a buzzword.
to push their own agenda,
We got to hold our leaders accountable,
no matter who they are.
no matter what party they belong to.
I think this whole DOGE thing has been a wake-up call,
Definitely, it shows how fragile our system is.
and how easily it can be exploited.
We got to be vigilant.
Can't take our democracy for granted.
We got to be active, participate, ask questions,
Demand better from our leaders.
because this is about the future of our country,
How we want to be governed.
what we believe in.
This deep dive has been amazing.
Eye-opening.
It feels like we've just scratched the surface, though,
Oh, yeah, there's so much more to learn about DOGE.
and what it means for the future.
So keep the conversation going, everyone.
Talk to your friends and family.
Do your own research.
Read different perspectives.
Engage with your elected officials.
Ask questions. Challenge assumptions.
Demand better from those in power.
Because the future of our democracy depends on us.
Informed, engaged citizens.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.